weekend. It's so awesome. And it's pretty decent weather, at least here in Georgia. It's not freezing. There was one year where it was like, oh my goodness, it is cold. And we had to wear, coats and stuff, but not this year. Oh my goodness. So my daughter is a cat. She went very basic this year, thank goodness, because Party City had almost no costumes in her size. So that was nice that she just wanted to be something simple. And even that took some research and shopping around. And then oh no, my battery is running low. Hold on one second before my computer turns off. I don't know what's not plugged in here. One sec. Oops, sorry about that. Okay. I didn't realize that my computer was not plugged into the charger. And then my son is some character from, oh man, it's an anime series. It's not JoJo's Bizarre, but it's something. I don't know. He's got this mask. It's like this white mask with these like swirly eye things and this coat that's black with like red pattern. If any of you guys know what that is. But yes, he loves JoJo Bizarre Adventure and all the anime stuff. He's got these contacts that are like red and it's pretty creepy. My oldest is not dressing up this year, unfortunately. But who knows? He might change his mind. All right. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Halloween is big in our little neighborhood. Our house is all decorated and whatnot. So today we're going to talk about authors. Yes, there we go. Naruto. Thank you. I was like, what is this? Yes, that's it. He's going to kill me for not remembering the name of his favorite anime. Yes, that's it. Naruto. So we're going to talk about author's craft and descriptive writing. You guys have a essay / poem. So depending on which one you choose, so you will have a choice, that is due the end of this week. So we're going to talk a little bit about how that is going to look. But first, before we get into those details, we're going to do some practice. We're going to talk about different ways that you can describe something and just looking at visuals and how we can paint a picture for those that are reading our work. Okay. So yes, this assignment is very open-ended. It is nonfiction. However, you can choose to write about whatever you want. So, I mean, that may be great for some people and really tough for others because you have to come up with your own topic, I guess. And then it can be a little bit difficult to narrow it down because the essay and the poem are not extensive. It's more of a shorter assignment. Well, because that's what the assignment calls for. No, it should be nonfiction, so it has to be real.
But Miss Moore, wouldn't it be harder to describe something that's not real, and then you would have to demonstrate even more profound mastery of descriptive language if you need to describe something that the reader has never experienced before, and as you try to accurately portray the experience for the reader?
Yeah, absolutely. I do not disagree with you. However, it is important to practice describing things that you do see in real life or that you've experienced in real life. So there's a time and place for both. Creative writing for fiction is awesome and it is difficult to do as well. Um, but so is nonfiction creative writing. So, there's you can do both, but for this particular assignment, it is nonfiction. That doesn't mean that you can't incorporate, fictional detail, I guess. Like we're going to talk about some of the literary elements that you can use, literary devices that you can use to help describe that nonfiction item that you choose. Okay?
I have a question.
Sure.
What if the item is non-fictional, but like say the setting is? So for example, say you're describing the feeling of like, I don't know, a cold rainy day, but this is happening in some sort of like futuristic, like I don't know, other planet setting or whatever.
Hmm. You would definitely be stretching the nonfiction aspect. I don't know. I have to think about that because, again, you'll be stretching it if you do that. And this assignment is, and I really hope that you will focus in on something that is real.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So just a couple of just very brief announcements. Don't forget about the permanent zero deadlines. You have one on 10/28, which is Thursday, and then 11/5, which is the next Thursday. And then the end of the first quarter is also on 11/5. So you don't get report cards, you just get progress reports at that point, but it is just something that you want to keep in mind. Okay, so just a little warm up. This is a real place, and I promise you guys, so shameless shout out to myself, but I took this picture and I promise it actually looked better in my camera than it does up here. But anyways, how would you describe this picture? This is actually at the Atlanta Botanical Gardens. I went a couple of weeks ago. Beautiful place. So not too bad, right? It's a little blurry here, but it's not on the camera. So thank you. You're kind. So how would you guys describe this picture? Ooh, okay. Yes, you guys are good at this. Oh, thank you, Carter. Ooh, good, good.
It's lush, but there's a dryness to it, I think.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, if that's what you see, then absolutely. Peaceful, lush, an elegant fountain. Good. I'm glad someone saw that right there. That's the blurry part. Ooh, yes. The sounds. You can hear the birds. Ambience, shining blue sky, bright green, calming, paradoxical. I love that. Yes. Okay, so that's exactly what I want you guys to do in your essay. Use those sensory words that you did here. We're going to practice even more because why not? So before we get to that, go ahead and take a screenshot of the vocabulary course definitions. We have connotation, nuance, anecdote, tone, and voice. I think you guys have probably seen these words plenty of times, especially tone and voice, probably even connotation and denotation. Yeah, correct. All right, are we done? All right, let's move on because we have things to do. Okay, in narrative nonfiction, the details do what? Paint a fun and exciting picture for the reader. Now, don't get tripped up on this. Help the reader learn more about the subject, because we're talking about nonfiction. Make the reader think they are reading fiction, or make the reader want to read more stories. What do you guys think? Yay. Well, we're thinking about narrative here. So nonfiction, you have a wide range of nonfiction, textbooks and speeches and technical manuals. I mean, the list is long. So you have to narrow it down because this unit is, kind of mostly focus on just the narrative form, like the short stories and the narrative poems and such. So the answer is actually, and I'm glad you guys kind of, no one chose C or D, so that's great. But yes, it was split between A and B. Not really split. Most people did choose B, and the answer is B. I can understand why some would choose A, but just keep in mind that not everything is fun and exciting. It can be, but there are a lot of things that are gloomy and just depressing, sad. So not everything is fun and exciting. So it is B. All right. Next activity. I'm going to give you guys whiteboard privileges. There we go. So we're going to match the words on the left to the column on the right. And you can use the whiteboard. Select the little pencil down on the right so you can connect the words with the description. We have denotation, figurative language, central idea, and author's craft. We have the theme. B is the technique used. C is, this includes similes and metaphors. Obviously, it can include a lot more than that, but that's for an example. And last but not least, this is the literal meaning of a word. Very good. So how I remembered back in the day, the difference between denotation and connotation, I always would put in my head, denotation is the dictionary definition of the word. So denotation, dictionary. That's how I remembered it. Just a little tip for you. Right. Yes. So these are all right. Thank you very much. That's a cute little picture up there. All right. Last but not least, why are tone and voice important in narrative nonfiction? Tone and voice. Does it reveal the attitude of the character? Does it help set up anecdotes? Does it help convey meaning? Or does it create nuance? What do you guys think? Oh, we're kind of all over the place here. So I think that it can be it can reveal the attitude of the character. However, C is the better answer here. It helps to convey meaning. All right. So for the next couple of exercises, we are going to, hold on one second. Okay, we are going to start thinking about the imagery and different figurative language and different literary devices that we can incorporate anytime we are writing descriptively. So here is just a little chart that can help you get started, just changing up your wording when you write, because a lot of times we can just fall back on the words that we're familiar with. And you know, that's okay. But when we write descriptively, we want to get past some of those words that we see all the time. Jazz it up a little bit, right? So feel free to take a screenshot of this little chart here. And then of course, you know, you always have your, I always say Google because that's what I use to search. So if you use something else, that's fine, but you can always look in a thesaurus or look at in Google for different words that have the same meaning as a word that you have already written. But here's a nice little chart for you to help get you started. All right, we ready to go? Yes, that is a huge hint. All right, so some steps that will help you to get started, get going. The first step to writing descriptively is to first select the subject. What are you going to be writing about? So observation is key. For example, if you're writing about a place, go there, take notes on the sights, the sounds, and the smells. Just keep in mind that a descriptive essay paints a picture in the reader's mind using descriptive devices and the senses. So we have touch, taste, sound, smell, and sight. Don't get too hung up on sight. That's obviously a big one if you are going somewhere and looking around. But what makes your writing stand out even more is when you talk about those other senses, like the smell and the sounds. So the next step is to create a thesis statement. I know. When we are writing In narrative format, it's a little bit difficult to think about, oh my gosh, I have to write a thesis statement for this as well. You do. But the thesis statement here is going to tell the reader what you're going to be talking about throughout the entire essay. What will you prove? That's for all thesis statements, really. You are proving, the rest of your essay is proving your thesis statement. So if you say that you're going to talk about this place, the rest of your essay should focus on that place. However, you should never start your thesis statement with, I am going to be talking about. A good rule of thumb is if you like to start out this way, just, to get your ideas down on paper and to get going, perfectly fine to do that. Just go back and take it out, just reword it, and you'll see that it is so much easier to do it that way. So your thesis, yes, you do. You do need a thesis in your descriptive essay. So are you focusing on, now I know this is just an example that you put here, Anna, but is your essay focusing on just the rain? If it is, perhaps you can word your thesis statement about the rain in that particular location. So you don't have to say that you're going to prove that the rain sounds like. You're just going to say what your essay is about, the rain at that location. All right, scrolling up. It is okay to use the first person in this essay because, yes, it is a narrative. Great question. You just want to stay away from words like I am and I will and I will prove. Good. Okay. Okay. Yes. It is. It is cute. And that is how you start out in elementary school, just to, again, to get going so that you can begin writing and telling the reader what you're going to tell them, what you want to prove to them. But now we just have to go back and just cross that out. Yes, absolutely. That is perfect. And I'm talking to you, Catherine. Yes. That's a little too deep for me. All right. So since this is a descriptive essay, create a thesis that informs the reader of what or of who or what you will be describing. So again, this is completely up to you what you are going to describe based on your life, your experiences. So here's some examples. My bedroom is an ocean sanctuary. This person will go on to prove that their bedroom is an ocean sanctuary by describing it. Another example, my family vacation to Disney World was a magical week of fun, laughter, and sun-filled happiness. This person is going to prove that in the rest of their essay. They're going to talk about the fun, the laughter, and the sun-filled happiness that they experience. Yes, it can. So for the poem, that's a great question. You can still incorporate a thesis. It's not going to look exactly like these sentences per se. It's probably going to be shorter depending on the form of your poem. You know, that's also up to you. It could be free verse, it can be rhyming, it can be a sonnet, and however you want to do it. My suggestion is that whatever you're going to prove in your poem, your thesis, quote unquote, should be that first line of the poem. Correct, yep. And usually it's a little shorter. And it could actually look something like this one, but maybe worded a little differently, depending on your style of writing. All right. So the next thing that you should do is select dominant details. We're going to get to that, the requirements of it. Make sure you are only writing about things that specifically support your thesis. And I'm actually going to just go ahead and say it now. So again, this is not a very lengthy assignment. Whoa, I rolled back. The poem is a minimum of 6 lines. Yes. And then the essay is a minimum of 3 paragraphs. So you really want to narrow down your subject, or what you're going to be talking about. So for example, if your thesis statement is about your sun-filled trip to the beach, don't go overboard with describing your swimsuit. Talk about the sights and the sounds and the smells of the beach. The next step is to use descriptive words. Again, try to stay away from good and nice and bad, or even beautiful, and think about like the words that I showed you in the earlier slides. And then of course you can look up some different words to help you incorporate them into your essay. Yes, that is a good idea. Really narrow down your topic. So here's an example. I ate a good dinner, as opposed to I devoured a steaming hot cheese-filled pepperoni pizza for dinner. So this first one, it doesn't really make you hungry for anything in particular. However, the second one, it kind of makes you want to go and get some pizza. Exactly. This one, not much description. This one, some really good description. All right, next step is to provide those sensory details. So we have the smells that are in the air, such as the aroma of freshly brewed coffee. We have sounds such as traffic, honking, waves crashing. And we have sights. The sun scattered tiny diamonds across dew-covered grass as it peeked out from beyond the horizon. That was beautiful. And then touch, the texture of the adobe hut's walls resembled coarse sandpaper. And then taste, we have sweet, sour, salty, bitter, tart. And the giant goosebumps formed on my tongue when I accidentally bit into a sliver of lemon. All right, so that's some sensory details for you. And we're going to practice. But before we practice, any more questions so far? Some of the steps that you have to take and that you should take?
Miss Moore,
Yeah.
um, I don't want to be like super random or anything, but a really fun thing to do is look through different wallpapers for like a computer that they have with like photos of nature and stuff and pretend that you're in there and what it would feel like. Kind of like this. And it's super fun to do.
Yes, absolutely. That is a really good tip. And to follow up on that, another good thing that you can do to kind of get some ideas of what you want to talk about is to look through your phones at your pictures of the places that you've been and that you've taken pictures of and try to recall those memories. So, yes, thank you for pointing that out. All right, so for the next 3 slides, we are going to focus in on some of those sensory details. What I suggest that you do is first just write down something that you might hear, see, taste, smell, or feel or touch in the picture, and then write a descriptive sentence about that particular picture. Um, that's okay. So you may want to focus just on 1 to 2 of these senses so that you don't get kind of overwhelmed with, because we were only going to spend like 2 minutes for each one. So focus in on just 1 or 2 senses and then write a descriptive sentence about it. Okay, does that make sense? And you can get creative. It can be a simile, a metaphor, um, personification, alliteration, however you want to do it. We ready? All right, the first picture. Okay, what do you see? What do you smell? What does the air feel like? Do you hear birds or deer or rabbits rustling in the leaves? Good. Can you describe those shades? Oh, that's beautiful. I want to walk this path without even seeing it. Beautiful, Carter. Thank you, Emily. That is perfect. Lemon. Ooh, good. We have sounds. Ooh, I like that. I like that word burst of orange, yellow, and red. Good.
I still have a minute because I'm trying to type and I don't. Yeah, but I'm still typing.
It's okay. Ooh, I like that. Nice, Addison. I know you guys think really quickly. Those are beautiful descriptions. I'll wait just one more minute. I love how you guys focused in on not just the site, because this is a beautiful site, but then you went further and talked about the sounds and the feel. And that is awesome. Ooh, I like that personification. Thank you, Catherine. Nice, Stephen. Good, Anna. Bravo. Love it, love it. Okay, you guys, you ready for the next one? We're going completely different. All right, here we go. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? This looks like a concert of some sort. Do you feel anything from the people to the music? Okay, what do you guys have? Okay, no problem. Okay, I was trying to be quiet so that everyone had a chance to really like think and get their sentences down and put together. Like, oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. Okay, the blinding lights and loud music uplifted the crowd. Yes. Love it. The mesmerizing lights flash as the thousands of hands bounce up and down to the beat of the hypnotic music. Love it. The floor let out a thud at every beat, knocking us all nearly off our feet. Nervously walking through the crowd, I feel claustrophobic between the blinding lights and energetic dancers who pay no attention to their surroundings. Yes, yes, I love that. The excitement was beginning to die down, replaced by a steady hum of active oblivion. Nice. Only barely broken by loud beat and exclamations of the musicians. Once in a while, she bumped into someone else and then felt the roughness of cloth. Ooh, nice, good job. And maybe the warmth of their breath. The lights were first seemed sharp and blinding, were now just causing her to keep squinting. And she had lost the auditorium's open, echoey smell that had first greeted her. Love it. Wow. That is a really good idea, Victoria. I also have an astigmatism and I know exactly what you mean. Those smears of lights. hmm Okay, music pounds in my ears and the multicolored lights blind me yet invigorated me at the same time. Red solo cups litter the floor and are kicked about by loud crowds who seem to have let their guards down completely. Beautiful. Good. The ground shakes beneath our feet as if every beat caused an earthquake. Yes. The glaring lights illuminated the band playing, making it seem like the sun itself was present in the concert. Nice. My chest grew a booming heartbeat as the music echoed throughout the venue. The blinding lights of the stage gave me a headache. Everyone had their hands up, and I desperately tried to shove my way up to the front of the crowd so I could get a better look at my idol. Yes! Each beat seemed to force my heart to synchronize with it. I love that. Oh, you guys are so talented. Beautifully written. Thank you. Okay, so now we're taking a completely different turn. Once again, this one might be a bit harder. Y'all ready? Oh, I wish I could just capture all of this in the chat because wow, amazing. Okay, next one. It's our last one. Yeah, I'm gonna copy and paste some of them in my OneNote because they're beautifully written. At the end of class, I'm gonna go back. All right, so again, this one is gonna be a little bit harder because you don't have that much to work with, right? You just have the moon and the night sky. So you can talk about how you feel or the feeling that you get, the wind, the bugs, the breeze, the chill. You can talk about what you see. You can, what else? What does the air smell like? I mean, there's just lots of options. Use your imagination. All right, you guys ready? What do you have? Darkness. What kind of darkness? You have to describe that darkness, compare it to something, use a simile. If I wasn't there, how would you describe the darkness to me? Would you say, oh, it was dark outside? How dark? Was it frightening? Okay, as I looked up to the sky, the icy breeze isolating me from all the warm voices reverberating from inside the house, I realized I had no companion except for what emitted a bright beam of light onto my face from the dark sky. She was equally as isolated as I. Ooh, I like where this is going. A luminescent glow against what was otherwise a black, lonely void. I wondered if the void consuming her was nearly as powerful as the one consuming me. Oh my gosh. That was beautiful. It is not. It is beautifully written. The moon looked so lonely as it appeared, only a sliver of itself to show. The boring appearance still awes many as they take a few seconds out of their busy life to look up at it. I thought a mystery to most, or though a mystery to most people, they can easily sense the cold, empty landscape as if they were on the surface. Yes, beautiful. As I lay under the pitch black sky that was barely lit up by the crescent moon, I gazed into the nothingness and felt the void of the mountains beside me as I prepared to camp out on this cold winter evening in Montana. Ha! I love it, Carter. Yes, the darkness wore almost inky, and I could smell the frost in the air. It seemed to merge with my body, make me just as cold still. I like that it merged. I looked up, and as my white ethereal breath cleared like a fog, ooh, I saw a sliver of the moon emerge from the inky cold that was the sky. Yes, beautiful. A sliver of moon, the darkness of night, crescent or full, it's fine to me. Oh, moon, my favorite moon, you may not be the sun, but you are my star. The quiet days and the wistful breeze. Oof, it's moving down. Sorry. Such little sounds bring me peace as a child, such a small little child. I fear the night, the lonely night, but in that fear, a lullaby was sang. It went with the beat and told of the moon and me. That's poetry. Love it. The crisp, cold breeze sweeps against my skin as I gaze into the darkness, and the crescent moon breaks through the midnight skies, if to remind us of its presence. Bravo. Beautiful. The pitch black night sky enveloped me in its stillness as I lay on the cold, damp grass, my only source of light, the silver ray shining down from the crescent moon. Yes. Beautiful. I know. Ah, you guys are so talented. Yes. I love it. That was amazing. And I hope that you channel that energy into your assignment because these were very well written. Just keep in mind that um, you really want to describe things so that you paint a picture for someone that is not there. So again, when we talk about darkness, think about how you would describe that darkness. If you talk about the moon, how would you describe the moon? Again, the moon is in, there's many phases of the moon. Which phase is it? I like that you guys mentioned it as a crescent moon. So it gives you a better picture as to what you were experiencing. Thank you, Shrikant. That is beautiful. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. And again, the moon can be silver, it can be white, it can look gray, it can look pink, so get into those finer details. Orange, yes. You guys are amazing. All right, so we're going to switch gears just really quickly because I did not want to leave here without mentioning um, some of the things you can use to create sound in poetry. So if you go the poetic route, these are some of the things that you can incorporate. So we have the onomatopoeia, and that's when the sounds or the words suggest the sounds or the meaning of the sound. So splash, click, zoom, woof. And we have alliteration. That is the repetition of a consonant sound at the beginning of the word. So bring me the babbling baby. Then consonants is the repetition of consonant sounds where or with different vowel sounds. So you'll see the consonants like kind of in the middle, sometimes at the beginning, it just depends. So the heavy limbs climb into the moonlight bearing feathers. So you see the M's are repeated there. And then assonance, it's the repetition of vowel sounds within the words. So we have the drowned towns, burial mounds. So you see the OW here and the OU sound similar to these OWs. Yeah, I know that was beautiful. So those are some different ways that you can incorporate sound in poetry. And then for figurative language, just a brief reminder, these are some things that you can use. Yeah, you could do a song. It is, absolutely. Songs are like poems. They go hand in hand, so absolutely you can do that. So these devices can be used in both poetry, songs, and essays. So we have imagery. Of course, we just did a lot of imagery here. Then you have similes, metaphors, personification, hyperboles, that's an exaggeration, oxymorons, and then symbols, of course. We all know what a symbol is and all these other ones, but oxymoron, that's the opposite or contradictory term. So fight fire with fire and water with water, for example. We're almost out of time. All right. So moving on, I just wanted you guys to see that this will be a part of, or this should be on your assignment worksheet. Don't forget to go into the actual content and look at your notebook so that you can see these requirements. So you should either write a descriptive poem of 6 lines or more, or write a 3 to 4 paragraph essay describing the subject that you choose. Remember, this is nonfiction, but the topic is open other than, it being nonfiction. Use showing language and sensory details wherever you can to express your experience and or emotions. Okay, so any questions, concerns? Good to go? Okay, thanks you guys for coming today and participating. This was amazing. You all are great and I cannot wait to read your essays. You're welcome. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.